Well, I have to say, as far as the Armory goes, I'm for adaptive reuse in the Armory. I've been involved in the Armory now for quite a while. As a matter of fact, I'm chairman of the Municipal Arts Commission here in Rochelle. Among other things, one of our responsibilities is public art. About 2 years ago, I became aware, it's probably even a little longer now, I became aware of the fact that two or three of the murals that were in the Armory at the time were stolen. Now, the Armory murals were painted during the WPA period in this country, and they were beautifully painted depictions of actual events that occurred and that this particular squadron was involved in between the wars, between World War I and World War II. It's kind of amazing to me, but during the last 3 or 4 years, someone actually got into the Armory and removed 2 of the large murals right off the wall. These were canvas murals that were glued to the walls. And it's quite difficult to take these things down, but somehow they got them out. When we heard about this, the Municipal Art Commission decided that it was really important, regardless of whatever happened with the Armory in the future, that it was very important to try to preserve the remainder of the art that was in the Armory. So we actually took a little bit of negotiating, but we got the city to agree. The funding was actually provided by Forest City Ratner in order to keep their fingers in the pie in terms of the development going forward. They agreed to pay for the removal and the restoration and storage of 3 of the pieces that were still left in the Armory. The city hired an art restoration guy who came in. I worked with him, actually, Joe Sadlow, for a couple of weeks in the Armory with a couple of volunteers. We removed 2 of the murals that were remaining. They were in pretty lousy condition, but we got them out. And we also got a great piece, which is, it was in the basement, and actually no one knew about it except one of the custodians. And one day we were working there, he said, "Let me show you something in the basement." And we went down in the basement, and there's this 12-foot-long tugboat training device, for lack of a better word. I mean, it was a large box that's mounted to the wall, 12 feet long, 4 feet high, with a beautiful painting of a tugboat. The side of the tugboat and the tugboat coming towards you, but all on the same thing. And in order to train sailors in what the meaning of the lights are on a tug, because you can tell at night by the lights on a tugboat mast whether it's pulling or pushing, or whether there's a long line or a short line. And this device had lights on all the masts of the painting. And there was a big panel with switches on the other side of the wall, so they could actually control these things. And this is how they would teach the sailors how to recognize the light patterns at night. And it's a beautifully painted device. So we got that down also. And that is actually close to finished now in terms of being restored. And we're looking for location for that. The Municipal Art Commission is. It's actually a little big for the library. There's really no place to put it in the library, which would be the ideal place, I think, right now. But we'll see. And hopefully, if the Armory is reused, then we can bring these things back to the Armory as part of some kind of a museum. Or if the Armory doesn't survive, then we would still like to have some kind of a city museum where we can keep these pieces. There are other things that we've collected too over the years. We just collected the door from the Palace shoe store, which was recently, there was a door that had some bronze work on it that says Palace, and the new landlords agreed to give that to the city, and so that's in storage. And there are a few other things. The bells from the tower on the church on North Avenue, they're also in storage. It'd be great if we had a place to do something with some of this stuff, because this is important stuff. It's all part of our heritage, part of the history of the city. And it takes some doing, but obviously, you know, these things can happen. So I felt good about that. I felt very good about being involved in that. And I spent a lot of time in the Armory, which is an interesting experience in itself, because it's in terrible condition, unfortunately, but it's a very interesting building. The open space, the main flight deck, they call it, is absolutely beautiful. They're huge steel trusses that span the whole space. And it would be great if we could come up with a use, but it has to be a revenue-producing use, because I am definitely of the opinion, unless we can get revenue from these wonderful things, then we can't afford to do anything at this point with these buildings if we can't generate some income.